Here we go then with my final preview gameplay of F1 23, and today it's going to be some VR content in pretty raw format. I say pretty raw, the only thing it's not raw is I'm waffling over it in post. But as you can see there, we've got the webcam on me live. I'm using an Oculus Quest 2 connected via the Oculus Link cable, and obviously just on F1 23. Again, important to highlight that this is a preview version of the game. This is not the final version of the game. Big shout out to EA for allowing me to show you this content. And yeah, we're just going to have a 5-lap race here around Miami, and we're going to talk about the experience. So first of all, we need to tell you what specs we're looking at. My PC is pretty damn high end. I've got an AMD 7950X with 64 gig of DDR5 RAM, and I've got an NVIDIA RTX 4090, so pretty much as high end as it comes. And as I said, I've got Oculus Quest 2 connected via the Link cable. So yeah, this should be in theory the best VR experience you can get on F1 23. Now, important to highlight as well straight away, because I know there'll be comments about it. PSVR 2? No, unfortunately not. F1 23 is exclusively VR on PC. There is no PSVR 2 support, which is a shame. Hopefully do it in the future, because to be honest, I feel like it kind of needs it. I feel like having the ability to have everything in control, the console and the VR, I feel like they can maybe optimize it super well if they do that. Whereas this, I don't know, despite my super powerful PC, unfortunately there's still a couple of stutters in it, which kind of surprised me a bit, really. I mean, F1 introduced VR on last year's game for F1 22, and I really liked it because it's, as you can probably see by the video, it's a really cool experience. Being able to jump in the car, you really do feel like they're, even just, you know, on apexes, just seeing you fly past a bollard or a curb super close, and obviously looking to the apex into that. In theory, the experience is absolutely awesome. As you can see, the graphics are actually pretty damn good. But unfortunately, there is just some stutters. I mean, you can't see the stutters too badly on the recording. But just the same as in last year's game, which I hope will be fixed on last year's game. It may still be fixed on this year's game. Again, it's important to highlight it is a preview copy, so this may not be the final version of VR. But if you just look at certain things, you can see some very slight stutters in the video. The frame rate is not bad. I've got it set to 120 Hz to my headset, so pretty good frame rate. But if you look, it's not perfectly consistent with the frame rate, which is really important for VR. So it just doesn't feel as real as it otherwise could. Certain of the racing games, like iRacing, have super smooth VR, and it's not stuttery, it's super consistent, and you get a really nice experience. Unfortunately, F1 for some reason still just seems to stutter just a little bit, which is a real shame, because honestly I think this experience is really cool, but the stuttering just really kills it. I don't know why they got a little bit of stuttering. I mean, maybe it could well be, you know, just the way they've implemented it, as far as the way they outsourced the VR to another company, essentially a specialist VR company. They said, hey, can you put our game in VR? And they went ahead and did it. There's a special video I did on VR on last year's game, over on the main channel, so do go check that one out, because it is seemingly largely unchanged year to year. I'm sure the graphics have been tweaked, and actually last year I had a you know, a slightly worse PC, so I'm not able to compare it directly year on year. But as I said, I mean, for the most part it runs well, apart from just the little bit of stuttering you get, which is honestly, it is a real shame, because the experience is actually really cool. You can see me there just panicking, got to look in your mirrors. OSD is off. I mean, I should say as well, everything else is completely default. This is running on VR ultra low preset. And everything else is just completely default. Now, I will say the experience was also slightly detracted from because of my headset. Obviously, Oculus Quest 2 is not really designed for PC VR. It works, as you can see, and it's fine. But unfortunately, you actually get some compression. So just like you get on, you know, Twitch and YouTube. Honestly, in 120 Hz on the automatic resolution setting, it felt a little bit like VR in 360p. That's the sort of quality it felt like. Obviously, the quality was higher than that, because if you had 360p filling your whole vision, it would be absolutely abysmal. But if I'm honest with this, I couldn't really see the braking boards, which, by the way, is nothing to do with EA. It's nothing to do with the game. If I was running a headset that had a proper DisplayPort input, much higher compression, I wouldn't see that. So, you know, bear that in mind with my personal experience. But the recording you're seeing here is the raw recording. This is the raw recording of what Steam VR, technically, is sending to my headset, and it's then my headset that then compresses it. It's the way Oculus does it. So that's a bit of a shame, which is why I really want PSVR 2 support, because as I said, that'll be all in-house then. They've got one device and one console to run it on, and I reckon they can really get it right. So hopefully we see PSVR 2 support for next year's game. We'll have to wait and see on that one, but fingers crossed. I think that would be really, really cool. You see, we have quite a good battle here with the Ferrari. I was a little bit slow here. We were on 100 AI for this race, and just being in VR, I was just struggling for pace a little bit. Certainly not as fast as I usually was. And as I said, also struggling to see a little bit as well because of the compression on my headset, which is a bit of a shame. Literally couldn't even see the braking boards. That's how bad the compression was. So you guys can see much clearer than I could in the headset. But obviously just ignoring that, wary that's an issue with a limitation with my headset, and not wanting to put that in the video necessarily. I'll mention it to you guys now, but I don't want to be like, oh, I'm not even going to bother with this video because it's compressed so badly, because I know that's my headset. But to know as well, the stutters could well be my headset, but again, things like iRacing run fine on the headset, so I don't think the stutters are, sadly. I do think the stutters are from the game. Just managed to overtake the Ferrari there, just sort of using my judgment. I didn't actually look in the mirrors there, but sort of using my judgment with the overspeed I had on him, that I could come across in there and take my racing line, which did work out fine. And it's actually interesting. I mean, VR, you're looking through my right eye only here. Of course, you can't look through both eyes at once on a recording. So, which is why we're slightly positioned to the right in the cockpit, but it feels absolutely bang on. Now, there's a couple of things that are really cool in VR. First of which, the halo. You see straight through the halo in VR. Because, of course, you can see my right eye there. My left eye is the other side of the halo. So your brain merges those, and you basically don't see the halo. And that's exactly how drivers said it's in real life. And you get that full experience in VR. You don't need invisible halo in VR because you just see around it. You don't see it. It's really interesting. And as I said, it is really cool to be physically sat in the car, having to glance at the mirrors, trying to get a feel for hitting apexes and stuff, bit of oversteer as well. It is such a cool experience to drive the F1 game, in particular, this F1 game, not just the F1 car in iRacing, because of all the detail. The graphics are insane in F1 compared to iRacing. So it is a really, really special experience playing this game in VR. As I said, it is just a shame about the stutters, because honestly for me, although it's still cool to experience it, it just means I'm not going to play it longer term. I'm not going to use it beyond, showing you guys this sort of content. Just because the stuttering just really distracts from the experience. Again, I want to highlight, it is a preview copy of the game. It may well change for launch. We may well see some slightly higher quality for launch. But as I said, unfortunately, it was the same on last year's game. And as it's not changed at this stage, I'll be surprised if it changes. But you never know. You never know. And just trying to hold off this Ferrari now. You can see me looking in the mirrors. Of course, you don't get any OSD. You can turn on some of the OSD, but you don't actually get any OSD at all by default in VR. You only get what's on the steering wheel, which is actually pretty tricky. There's no laps completed, or there's laps completed, sorry. There's no laps remaining on the steering wheel. So you can see there it says lap 5 on the steering wheel. So I know now that this is the last lap, because I know I'm in a 5-lap race. But there's no indication as to how many laps there are. You get the position, you get the delta, and that's about it. And of course the ERS overtake, which you can see I've used all of now. We're down to 0%. Check there as many times to make sure the Ferrari's not coming past me. But we're all good. We're going to bring home P4 in this race, which is not bad at all. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this gameplay on F1 23. Honestly, I enjoy it. It's a really special experience playing this game in VR. It really is a cool experience. I want all of you guys to be able to experience this because it's really special sat in an F1 car. It does feel special. I just really wish they would maybe optimize it a little bit more. But we will see what they'll do. And fingers crossed it does come to PSVR 2 soon. As I said, it is currently exclusive to PC, unfortunately. But there you go. You see how the menus work as well. Outside of the car, you just kind of have almost like a cinema screen in front of you. So that's the way it works. But anyway, guys, that's it from me. Thank you so much for joining me for this. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. We've got loads more F1 23 content coming very, very soon. And I'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.